Do we have writers in the house? Go ahead and hold up your hand if you're a writer, you're a poet. That's definitely the front. Right? This also came out of a bit of a writing exercise, kind of a simple one. Actually, does anybody have a parent or a grandparent that doesn't speak English as a native language? Does anybody? Yeah, it's usually a lot. Can anybody just impersonate that person? Can I hear a good Trini accent, a Jamaican, an Indian? What? Just Yeah, exactly. What? Right? Your grandma or your mom was from an island. Where from? From Congo. Got it. So it was, Juliana, what are you doing? Yeah, so it's an interesting idea to just start with a quote and then write the poem around it. And this wasn't about a relative, this is about a lover, but it's the one from the Ceiling Fan poem. So I remember the first time you named me good morning, and how the night before you considered my ceiling, where the passing cars outside cast their shadows and liquid lights through the slats of my blinds. You said, "Hey, Romeo, your CD player's skipping again, but your ceiling's like fireworks for poor folks." And I like that. I like the tall pauses you take when you tell your nephews knock-knock jokes. You were like a vivid video game, and I am the idiot kid just trying to get to your next level. I like your right shoulder, angel. Hell, I like your left shoulder, devil. I admire the lively deeds you do. So if you come through a doorway, again, in a thrift store poncho or a drop-dead evening gown, twirling and asking, well, what do you think? I'm going to tell you. Hallelujah, sunshine. Sit your fine self down. If you're looking for a compliment, I think you've come to the right place. Thank you.
Becky's in the second stall, practicing with a plastic razor. So I lie on the floor to listen for the janitor, the cart's wheel squeaking our names down the evening empty hallway. The weeks she was in Lutheran General, I didn't go to visit. But I know from her stories what the doors looked like, closing, how they tied her to the bed for her own protection. We're 17, and I adore her despair. I think she's edgeless like a cloud, carving herself a body that's nothing but light. On the way home, she lets me drive. Tells me there's a trick to disintegrating in increments subtle enough not to trip the alarm wires, to hiding cigarettes and death from therapists and parents and this. All my girls have had down. How to go and go until the night is too fragile or grimy, and then the fanfare, the wild dive from the spire, the water tower, the clock yanking its hands back, how to dangle from the spotlight once everybody's watching. 1999. We lie on Andy's futon, searching the phone book for institutions that will take her without insurance. The phone's sober electronics between us, we curl our bodies into still commas of want to wait for morning. They take her shoelaces and her cigarettes, and I watch. They give her forms and more forms, and I watch. They walk her to the room with its single bed and single dresser and unsmashable mirror, and I ride the long, high buzz of the door back to New York. 2003, Gina Carla is an expert in suicide and poetry. Her medicine cabinet rattles like a jar of vengeful bees. She wants me to find her. All our idols are martyrs, not one of them a saint. Her hair falls like a cabernet all the way to her waist, and how she needs me. My simple body becomes bread in her mouth. I'm whiskey. An obliteration who'll get up in the morning to call the hospital and make coffee. Oh, my pretty ones, in love with the beast of disappearing. There are many ways to give birth. Not one is without pain. There are almost as many ways to die as there are to love.
Round answers. If anybody has any questions for us, I'm Reeves. That's Marty. Anybody have any questions? Just don't be shy. Really? No questions? Really? How to not suck at writing is the question. Well, I answered your question on how I do it. I try to be very, very, very specific. I try to find something that could only have happened. Not long walks on the beach. We all like those. Not what, it's got to be the one little thing that could have only been me and that person. Me, my sister, me and a lover, something like that. So I look for real specific. If you write down something that sounds like something that someone would say on a reality show, I edit it out. How do you do it?
Yeah, I mean, I think in a really practical sense, that's how you do it. And also, I also keep lots of word banks. I hear a lot of like open mics and shows and that sort of stuff, and I just write down words. I just write down words, and then I circle them in weird combinations, so that then when I go to think about how do I want to describe what that moment was like, I'm like, right, I haven't used this strange phrase about like, plastic elephants or whatever it is, cherry sodas, whatever, it's strange things like that. So I just keep word lists so that I can go back to those, and then suddenly they apply later on.
How do you go about memorizing your poem?
It's really boring for me. It's the most tedious process in the world. But I just sit down and like memorize a stanza, and then once that's memorized, go to the next stanza, and then run the first stanza and the second one, first, second, third, all the way through until it's done, and then just go over it and over it and over it.
So, ditto. I will tell you how you might want to do it though, as having memorized quite a bit of things, including sort of 40-minute presentations and things. If you're worried about forgetting your poem, and most people are worried about getting up here because they think they're going to screw up and forget. I turn on Larry King or a Talking Head show, I hold the opposite leg behind me, and I just do my piece. If I can do my piece without screwing up with all that, you probably won't mess up from the stage. It's true. Question, it's a good one, is what makes you realize this is what you wanted to do?
I graduated college, I was a public relations consultant. I had this whole career thing happening, and then poetry just blindsided me and took over my life, and I realized I couldn't actually work 60-hour weeks at my job, go to events every night, and still be a sane person, so.
Mine, try to be more romantic about it. I have practical considerations like that, but I was riding up Pacific Coast Highway on a motorcycle. I thought of a line, it worked perfectly in a poem. I was like, no, I should do this, because everything about this is awesome. So yeah, seriously, there's that. So Marty and I are performing Saturday night at a place, at a time. Yeah.
It's at Old School Square in Delray Beach. Now it's the Delray Beach Arts Center.
Doors open at 9, the show's at 10. If you show up, give us a shout out. You know what, frankly, we're actually going to be here as well, right here, after this period, which is ending right now. If you do have questions, come up and talk to us. If it makes you late for your next class, somebody's going to give you a pass, right? You know what I'm saying? Seriously, we get this, if it's important to you, if these questions remain unanswered, you want to talk to us, we will stay as long as you have questions. And right now, we thank you for having us.
Yeah.
And you guys